Rodger Staubach clearly is one of the five greatest quarterbacks of all time, and certainly the greatest quarterback of the 1970s.
Rodger Staubach won the Heisman, but got drafted in the 10th round. Then he didn't become a starter until 29. Yet somehow, he defied the odds and became one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Despite all their regular season success, the Cowboys struggled in the playoffs. Because of that, they became known as the team that couldn't win the big game.
Landry watched 5 straight successful seasons end with painful playoff losses, and the Cowboys were dubbed next year's champions.
Their lowest moment came in 1970. In the Super Bowl, that was dubbed the Blunder Bowl. The game was filled with penalties, 11 turnovers, and overall terrible play. It's a game the Cowboys could have won, but instead, the Colts emerged victorious on a field goal in the final moments.
We were called the bridesmaids of the NFL, but we had a lot of tags. Can't win the big one. Next year champions. By that time, we had started believing a little bit that we couldn't win the big one. It sort of started being a part of us to lose a big game, to get to it and lose.
So entering 1971, Tom Landry knew he had to make a change. Craig Morton, the Cowboys' first-round pick in 1965, had led the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. His backup was former Heisman Trophy winner, Rodger Staubach. Staubach was drafted in 1964, but he didn't join the team until 1969. That's because he played at the Naval Academy, which meant after graduating, he had to serve in the Army for 4 years. Not only that, he'd likely be going to Vietnam. So if he ever returned to play football, he would be a 27-year-old rookie.
Well, you're 24 years old now. Do you think you'll be in shape 3 years from now? I've been told that 29 is a prime of your life.
The Cowboys had taken a chance on him in the 10th round, and entering 1971, he was 29. As he said, the prime of his life. Landry now had 2 quarterbacks that were capable starters. So instead of choosing one, Landry decided to alternate Morton and Staubach as the starting quarterback each week. However, the decision-making was confusing. In Week 4 against the Giants, despite Staubach guiding the Cowboys to a 13-6 lead, he was benched at halftime. They'd win the game, but the back and forth would split the locker room.
Coach Landry lost maybe a little credibility in the fact that he didn't name a starter and say, this is my man, this is who we're going with, and we're going to build a team around him.
Given Landry called the plays on offense, at first glance, Morton was probably the better quarterback for him.
Landry still was more comfortable with Morton because Rodger would want to break all the plays.
He believed in you drop back, you read your keys, and you throw the football. And mine was a little different. I just wanted to go out and win and run and do things.
However, Staubach wasn't going to back down. Despite a convincing Week 6 win against the Patriots, with Staubach playing most of the game, Landry decided to make this controversy even worse.
The Dallas Cowboys have quarterback problems too. Only Coach Tom Landry has decided to solve his in a unique way. By rotating on every play Rodger Staubach and Craig Morton.
I looked over at Craig, he's looking at me, and geez, did he just say what I already said? We're going to alternate plays, and it was really, to me, ridiculous.
As you can imagine, alternating your quarterback every play is not going to work. They lost to the Bears, putting them at 4-3 and 2 games behind the Redskins for their division. So Landry had to make a decision. He chose Staubach.
The Cowboys are flourishing, and the prime reason is their quarterback, Rodger Staubach.
Craig went into some games with some doubt about whether he was going to win or lose, and I don't think Rodger ever went into a game like that. I think Rodger always went into a game expecting to win.
With Staubach, the Cowboys went undefeated for the remainder of the season, and after 2 convincing playoff wins, the Cowboys were back in the Super Bowl. But they still had to overcome their greatest challenge, winning the big game.
He was the missing ingredient. Once they put him in the starting job, that's all they needed.
The Cowboys dominated the Dolphins. Staubach became the first Heisman winner to be named Super Bowl MVP, and with him, the Cowboys proved they could win in crunch time. He had completed one of the most underrated seasons by a quarterback. Going 13-0, Staubach would lead the league in passer rating the first of 4 times in his career. His 1.9% interception rate was the lowest in the league when the average was 5.8. This is during the dead ball era, where passing was brutal and throwing more interceptions than touchdowns was fairly common. But while he had established himself as the franchise quarterback in 1971, a shoulder injury in the 1972 preseason reversed all that work. The injury was thanks to his alter ego, Rodger the Dodger. It's a nickname Staubach got due to his scrambling abilities. He had led the NFL in yards per rush attempt in 1971 and established himself as the #1 nuisance for defenses across the NFL. He'd be ready to go by week 5, but at this point, Morton had stole back the starting role as he led the Cowboys to a 10-4 record. That secured a playoff spot where the Cowboys would face the 49ers. While the Cowboys had beaten the 49ers in the NFC Championship game the previous 2 seasons, the 49ers had dominated earlier this season. That continued into this game as they returned the opening kickoff 97 yards. By the 4th quarter, the Cowboys were down 28-13 and Craig Morton had played terribly. With the game seemingly over and half the crowd filtering out, Landry decided to throw Staubach in. He fumbled on the first possession, and with just 2 minutes remaining, the Cowboys were still down 2 scores. But here's the reality.
With Staubach, the more the pressure, the more impressive he became.
I still believe today, with 2 minutes to go and 75 yards, I'll take Rodger Staubach with any quarterback in the National Football League.
A 20-yard touchdown put the Cowboys within 5, but there were only 90 seconds remaining. They needed to recover an onside kick.
It's the midfield drive from the Cowboys have recovered the football. It bounced into the hands of a San Francisco man and out.
Now at the 50, Rodger the Dodger scrambled for 21 yards. He then completed a 19-yard pass. 56 seconds remained.
Marks is to the right and Hayes is to the left, and back goes. The throw is into the end zone, and it's a touchdown to the tight end. A touchdown in there. No, Ron Sellers. Sellers makes the grab.
After throwing 2 touchdowns in the final minutes to win 30-28, Captain Comeback was born. With that, Staubach was now the undisputed starter, and Craig Morton would be traded the following season. By 1975, Captain Comeback had 9 of his eventual 23 career game-winning drives. His best came that season. In the divisional round against the Vikings, the Cowboys found themselves down 14-10 with 32 seconds remaining. Staubach took the snap, lobbed the ball deep, then closed his eyes and said a Hail Mary.
Rodger takes the snap, pumps it once, last gasp for the Cowboys. He's going long, down the near sideline for Drew Pearson. Pearson makes the catch at the 5, touchdown! Pearson goes in for the touchdown, and the Cowboys score!
What gets forgotten about this game is that on the previous play, Staubach had completed a 25-yard pass on 4th and 16. He had just willed the Cowboys to another playoff victory. While they had been to the Super Bowl only 4 years prior, Staubach saw this moment as the catalyst to their success in the second half of the decade. Many of the players from their 1971 Super Bowl team had retired by now, so it was like a new roster. We were in 3 Super Bowls in 4 years because of that play. I think the Hail Mary beating the Vikings gave us the momentum we had in the late 70s. However, the Cowboys would lose to the Steelers in Super Bowl X, then lose to the Rams in the divisional round in 1976. They felt their weakness was the run game.
We had this puzzle, and the puzzle doesn't work unless, every piece plays a role in the puzzle, and we were missing one piece, and that was Tony Dorsett.
But Dorsett would struggle. By week 9, he hadn't fully understood Landry's complex offense, so he hadn't even started a game.
I kind of almost gave up on that year, until Coach Landry really pulled me in right before that 10th game of the season, told me he had been expecting me to start by now, and that I need to just apply myself and work and act like I care out on the football field, because I was down. Here we're late in the season, and I'm not starting, so I'm not feeling very good about that.
The pep talk was the turning point, as Dorsett would start 4 of the last 5 games, finished the season with over 1,000 yards, and won Rookie of the Year. With the offense clicking and the Doomsday defense suffocating opponents, the Cowboys embarrassed the Bears and Vikings en route to their 3rd Super Bowl in 7 years. But the biggest story entering the game was about the 2 quarterbacks.
Kind of a special treat. I'd like to introduce you fellas. Craig Morton, Rodger Staubach. Rodger, this is Craig Morton.
Hello, Mr. Staubach. I've met Craig before, I believe.
Have you met before? I didn't realize that.
After an unsuccessful stint with the Giants, Morton had a career resurgence when he got to the Broncos. Now, with just over 7 minutes left in the third quarter, the Cowboys were up by only 10. The Broncos were just a touchdown away from making this a game, despite how bad they had played thus far. While Tom Landry called the plays, Staubach had the freedom to audible at the line. It was 3rd and 10 on Denver's 45. Butch Johnson was set to run an in route, but Staubach audibled to a post route.
Going deep. Oh, what a catch! And he dropped it. It is a touchdown.
That was the turning point. Staubach would complete 68% of his passes for 183 yards and 1 touchdown. Morton, suffocated by the Doomsday defense, completed 27% of his passes for 39 yards and 4 interceptions, the worst performance by a quarterback in Super Bowl history. The Cowboys won 27-10. At this point, Staubach was 35, a time quarterbacks would be declining. Yet he got better. The Cowboys made it back to their 4th Super Bowl in 1978 to face the Steelers, who had narrowly beaten them in 1975. Late in the third, it was a 1-score game. On 3rd and 3, tight end Jackie Smith was wide open.
You need some help to be a great quarterback, and I think we saw that in Super Bowl 13.
Rodger Staubach puts the ball right on the money in the end zone. Big tight end in the back of the end zone, Jackie Smith, and he drops it.
Oh, bless his heart, he's got to be the sickest man in America. Oh, Jackie was so wide open in the end zone, it was incredible.
He catches that ball. There's one less Lombardi trophy in that trophy case over on the south side.
So the Cowboys had to settle for 3. And then they collapsed. With less than 7 minutes left in the game, the Steelers were up by 2 touchdowns. But the Cowboys have Rodger Staubach.
To have that kind of lead, it should be game over. I mean, this is the steel curtain. The Steelers could not put this guy and this team away.
Despite his best efforts, the Cowboys lost by 4 points, again, in an absolute nail-biter. 1979 would be Staubach's final season, where he set a career high in completions, passing yards, and touchdown passes.
Rodger Staubach's final season was a phenomenal season because that was in an era when 27 touchdowns, 3,500 passing yards were high numbers.
He saved his best for last. In the final game of his career, the Cowboys faced the Redskins. The two teams had an intense rivalry during that entire decade. To make the game even more interesting, the Redskins had to win this game to make the playoffs. With less than 7 minutes left, the Cowboys were down 2 scores. Sounds familiar.
Clock is running, 2:38 left in the game. Can it happen again? Can they come back again? Shotgun formation, Staubach looking into the face of a 4-man rush, throwing, caught, swings, go. Touchdown, run, straight. 2:20 left in the game. Can they do it again?
You gotta believe, Brad.
Woo!
When Rodger got in that situation, he was going to win it for you, and everybody felt he was going to win that one.
With a performance like that, how could you retire? Well, he sustained 2 of his 20 career concussions in 1979.
I had some concussion issues. I was just turning 38, and I was told by Dr. Fred Plum at Cornell Medical School that I should, the next one could be the real problem in your life. You've had too many of them.
As many have said, there's no telling the story of the NFL without Rodger Staubach. His regular season win percentage remains 5th best all time, and playoff win percentage is 4th best all time. The man was a winner.